Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh and welcome. My name is Muhammad Nur Azmi bin Cekub. This is a video lecture for Chapter 8 Transport System, Subtopic 8.3 Transport in Plants. For Subtopic 8.3 Transport in Plant, by the end of this lesson, students should be able to state the pathway of water movement in roots, state the water and mineral movement via xylem in stem, state the pressure flow hypothesis in phloem, explain the lateral pathway of water and mineral is transported from surrounding soil to the root vascular system. And also to describe the water movement via xylem by transpiration, cohesion, tension mechanism and root pressure, and finally able to explain the pressure flow hypothesis in phloem. Transportation of water and dissolved minerals salts from soil to the whole parts of plants begins when water from surrounding the soil enter the plant through firstly epidermal cell of roots and to the cortical cell of roots, or also known as the root cortex, to the endodermis, towards the stele or in the xylem, and finally to the shoot system. Transportation of water from soil to the xylem of roots. Root hair sap contain dissolved mineral and sugars which reduce its water potential. The water potential in soil is higher than the water potential in the root hair cell sap. Therefore, water from the soil will diffuse into the root hair cells by osmosis. The water potential of the root hair is higher than the water potential in the cortex cell. So water from the root hair will diffuse into the cortex cell by osmosis. This will form a water potential gradient between the cortex cell and endodermis cell. Therefore, absorption of water occur continuously by osmosis down the water potential gradient. There are three major pathways of water transportation. First is the apoplast route, second is the symplast route, and third is the transmembrane route. Water and dissolved mineral flow up the xylem vessels by two mechanisms, which is transpiration, cohesion, tension mechanism, and root pressure. Transpiration, cohesion, tension mechanism starts when water lost by transpiration through stomata. This reduces the water potential in the mesophyll cells and cause hydrostatic pressure to decrease, therefore create a negative pressure from the leaf until the roots. Within the xylem vessel, cohesion of water due to the presence of hydrogen bonds between water molecules help in continuously pulling the cell subs from bottom without being separated. Adhesion between water molecules to the wall of the xylem help in the xylem sap to pull against the gravity. Root pressure is defined as a pushing force that pushes water upward only a few meters. It occurs at night, during which the rate of transpiration is very low, but root cells are still pumping dissolved minerals into the xylem through active transport. High water potential in the soil and low water potential in the root cells causes water in the soil to diffuse into the root cell by osmosis. As more water diffuses into the root hair cell, hydrostatic pressure in the root cell increases. accumulation of water in root cells generate root pressure, a pushing force that push water up the xylem. Hydatode is a type of pore found in the epidermis leaf of certain plants, and just like stomata, hydatode are surrounded by two crescent-shaped leaves. These cells do not regulate the size of aperture like stomata does. Mineral ions are transported from soil into roots is either by active or passive transport. In roots, mineral ions dissolve in water and move via apoplast, symplast or transmembrane pathway. In endodermis, dissolved mineral ions are actively transported into the xylem. Active transport is considered as the main process to absorb mineral ions by roots. There are some differences in the process of mineral ion uptake in roots. If the concentration of a mineral in soil solution is lower than its concentration in the root cell, the mineral ions are transported using active transport, which involve proton pumps and require ATP. If the concentration of mineral ion in the soil solution is higher than its concentration in root cells, the mineral ions are transported using passive transport, which involve diffusion and does not require ATP. Translocation of sucrose in the phloem are defined as the process in which transport the soluble organic product of photosynthesis via the phloem from the source cell to the sink cell. Source is defined as a plant organ that is a net producer of sugar by photosynthesis or by breakdown of starch, for example, green leaves or potato tuber. Whereas sink is an organ that is a net consumer or depository of sugar, for example, growing shoot, roots and fruits. Water and solutes move through vessels of xylem and sieve tubes of phloem by mass flow. The movement of cell sap generates a gradient of hydrostatic pressure. Therefore, it is one way of soluble organic product of photosynthesis to transport from source cell to the sink cell. If you have any question regarding this lecture, you may refer to your tutorial lecturer, or you may look up the materials from these sets of references. That is all. Thank you very much for listening, and Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh.